Jessica here with another Down Dog update. Today I am talking with Sofia Diaz in Boulder, Colorado. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jessica.
It's great to meet you. And I wanted to learn more because when I was reading about you online, you do a lot with female spirituality and empowerment and workshops and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to learn a little bit more about what that is exactly. And I read you've been practicing this for 30 years, so you've been teaching it. So I just wanted to share it with the viewers and learn a little bit more.
Sure. So the first thing is you just use the word female. And so I want to make the first distinction that always convolutes like the understanding of it. It's actually feminine spiritual practice. And we all, men and women, we carry a couple of deep, insightful and energetic components, and you can call them ooped and blopped. I think yin and yang is a little complicated. I don't, presume to know the great depth of the distinction of yin and yang, so I don't use those. But this masculine and feminine thing. So even genetically, we are a helix, and also the energies of our spine have these crossing points, but then sides. So the feminine does have a particular amount of appears in the genius of women's bodies or female human beings. But I like to make the distinction because the feminine and a relationship to beauty and a relationship to devotion and a relationship to confessing your life being about love as a spiritual practice is actually held really strongly in the gay men's community as well. So feminine versus female.
Okay.
And so I think we all know and we intuit, but we've been a little shell-shocked by, the fight that it's been to gain equality, just for the sexes, and then just our own internal self-identity about what sex we are or what we identify with.
Right.
To me, a lot of that is head and a lot of it connects to the heart when you start putting labels on yourself. But there is this dynamism to all of our devotion. And if you felt your identity relative to like your yoga practice, do you get yourself to your mat because of insight, like it has changed something for you and you want to go back and get more? Or do you get yourself to the yoga mat because you have fallen in love with either a state or an experience? And it's interesting because when you land and you actually identify that, the part of us that likes to overview and likes order and discipline, I would call that the masculine in all of us.
Yeah.
And then the feminine is just this heartful knowingness. It's connected to intuition, and you just know you have to do it, or you know the teacher that you love and you don't know why, or the teacher that you can't stand and you don't know why,
Yeah.
So there is a feminine aspect to our spiritual practice, and I think we've gotten really elevated into our minds from technology as well.
Yeah.
A little disconnected to the embarrassment that it is to be a fragile human body. And I think hugging that and hugging the imperfections is actually a feminine spiritual practice and a feminine gift. This embracing rather than insight and changing or judging. And so my emphasis, I never thought it would be this, but it just has become more and more obvious as the necessity. Now, because I'm a woman, I love to teach women because there's a lot that is just awkward to talk about, just because of our physiology being different, that you can feel when you do deep yoga. So you start talking about ovaries and there's men in the class, it's an awkward moment. I mean, I could talk about testicles too, but it's an awkward moment.
Right.
So I have always preferred to teach because I don't like to waste time. Men and women separately. I do teach co-ed and I do teach men. I have a lot of extremely dedicated men students, but just in the last year and a half, I was doing a women's program that was a community building adventure as well.
Okay.
And it's just in the last, I would say, a year and a half that I exclusively have been teaching women because of being ensconced in that program that took like 24 hours a day to
Yeah.
have it rock, have it work. So yeah, if you make a distinction between like our consciousness and our embodiment, like which one do you think is masculine and which one do you think is feminine?
Yeah.
Like
well,
awareness
Right.
or bodily sensation? Like if you were going to name one.
Right. Well, just off the top of my head, I would think the bodily would be more male. Personally.
Masculine. Now.
Yeah. Right. Masculine. I keep
Masculine.
using those terms. That's interesting.
Well, it's interesting because I would go in the other direction.
Okay.
Is that sensation, which is a little bit of a taboo in our times. I think that's why pornography is just taking off, because anytime you dissociate from an actual genius that you have in the body, then it comes out in slightly disturbed ways, you know?
Okay.
So I would say that embodiment demands a feminine acceptance of our bodies, and that awareness, which is all seeing, it's like the part of us that is looking at this moment, that actually the same being looked at the first pair of shoes that you got when you were like 1.
Yeah.
The exact same beingness, looking with awareness, I would call that more masculine.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So your practice and your classes, workshops, really go into the details and the spiritual aspects, these different realms, and so it's a little bit the asana as well, but it sounds like some lecture you put into your workshops as well, and teaching a little bit more of the embodiment and that kind of thing.
Well, I think that what I enjoy doing is drawing people into feeling instead of just doing and bulldozing over and striving for perfection.
Sure.
So there is almost like a song of understanding that every asana is when your body is open and full of prana and breathing. And there is a unique understanding to each one of the asanas. Now, wherever we have blocks, we can't stand that asana. It's like that's it. But the ones that we can't stand, we do this thing that only humans have the liberty of doing. We kind of can pull away from that and keep striving. So I would say that the conductivity of feeling in my classes, and then I do like to pick themes and points that correlate to the seasons and correlate to I've found from teaching so many people that there's an emotional season to humanity. So the earthquake in Nepal really jangled all of us in some way, whether we're connected with that part of the world or not. And I think it's, the earth shook, but also it was devastating. And also there wasn't the kind of information that you get about other parts of the world. And I think we all felt something. So when I hear the same thing from about 50 people in 1 week, I know we're having a mutual experience instead of a private one that's just about our private evolution. So I love to address what I call the flying carpet, which is when, if you imagined all of the miracles that happened for every single person that walks into a class with you, the miracles that happened for you to be sitting there with them, it's exactly not random. There's a perfection to it, and there's a whole body made that makes everything easier, because there is somebody in that class that is completely open in something that you actually need to open to. And then you're totally open in something that somebody else needs. And when you breathe and you feel, you get a free ride. So I call it the flying carpet.
Oh, okay.
And so I like the unified field of incredible dedication to what, for me, Hatha Yoga is not a physical activity, it is a sacred art. And you can choose to dabble and use it, or you can pick it as your sacred art. And then you get serious, you know, and you get heartfully affected by the practice.
Yeah.
And so I love for that to happen, even if people are dabbling.
Yeah.
I love for people to get heartfully affected.
Right, that's wonderful. And for those that want to get heartfully affected, because I certainly do after listening to what you've said, you have some workshops coming up, or do you have online anything that people can do online?
Right now is a little a moment of time of suspended animation, but I do a yearly women's yoga retreat in Crestone, Colorado. That's on my website.
Okay, great.
I'm here teaching Saturday and Sunday at the Hanuman Festival, and then I am actually, you know, I think if you give everything you've got, there are these times, just like I've never felt this so clearly, that like a snake, you get called. You don't do it willingly, but you get called to shed a skin and be naked and find an even greater depth to live from. And so I'm in one of those moments where I feel like a mom, and I have too many kids to totally drop out for my own like heart commitments.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you know, the schedule stay open so I can really feel how I want to dive into the next moment.
Yeah.
But I ran into somebody at the grocery store, and they said, "Are you still teaching yoga?" And it's such a funny question, because I'm just in so deep that I will be teaching yoga until I exhale my last breath.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
Let's see where the journey takes us.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. That's a good way to follow your intuition and see what happens.
Right. Or to listen to what's bigger than me.
Right.
It's a moment where I'm a little tired of my own voice.
It's true. Someone said the quieter you become, the more you can hear. I forget who it was, but it's true. So
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to hold on to that.
Well, thank you so much, Sophia, for doing this, and it was very interesting. Very
Thank you.
interesting. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you for your journey out here and your
Yeah,
journey
no
through the
problem.
down dog.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And your website, Sophia.
Is sophiayoga.com.
Great. So definitely check that out. I'll put a link up as well. And thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you to all you dedicated yogis and yoginis.
Yes. Yeah, they're so cute. I love them.
And then it's don't walk in fear.
A good yoga message for everyone.